Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. So here we are discussing the problem maximum strength of a group. You are given a zero index integer array nums representing the score of students in exam. The teacher would like to form one non-empty group of students with maximal strength, where strength of group of students of indices I0 to Ik is defined as the multiplication of their values at the index. So we need to return the maximum strength of a group teacher can create. Suppose we have list as this. So we can have maximum strength at indexes 0, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you take 0, 2, 3, 4, 5, if we multiply all these, then we will get 10, 50, 5, 45, 450 into 3, which will be 1350. So basically we are multiplying all these numbers. Now in this case, as three negative integers are there, we will take the 2 which will return the maximum result. So it will be minus 4 and minus 5, which would give us output as 20. Now how to solve this question? So to start with this question, we will first initialize some variables, like we can take n as the size of the array or the list, and then simply to keep the count of negative numbers, we can have a variable as suppose negative count, and then to keep the track of the maximum negative number which is present there, we can keep the track in max negative, and the max negative can initially be our int min, because we need the max one. So we can define here int min. So our int min would be the maximum initialized, and after this, after we define int min, we can have another counter to check the positive numbers. So as we have negative count, we have positive count also, so we can define positive count, and then after defining all these things, we can define answer, which would be initially 1, because we need multiplication, so we are defining answer as initially 1 in this case, and then check number of zeros which are present, because zeros can also be there. So we have negative count, positive count, and a zero count. So we need all these three things with the maximum negative number encountered. Now we check if the input vector which is given to us has size of 1 or not. If it is size 1, then we directly return the element in the vector as it is the maximum strength. Then we iterate through each of the elements in this vector, and if current element is 0, we will add up in this variable. If it is negative, we add up in this, and if it is positive, we add up in this. So we check if it is 0, then we add up in the 0 variable, and then move on to the next iteration without any processing. If it is negative, then we count in the negative one and also update the maximum negative number by having maximum negative would be max of the negative number encountered and the maximum negative stored before. So that would give us the maximum negative. After getting the maximum negative, now if the number is negative, then we have checked it. If the number is positive, then we would increase the count for the positive number here, and thus we get all the counts. Now the answer variable which was declared before would be answer into the number which is there regardless of that sign, which means we are using the absolute function, you can say. So the product of all absolute values of the numbers encountered so far is multiplied in the answer. Now when we have iterated through all the elements, we check that if zero count is equal to the size of the array, means all were zeros, so it means that the maximum strength would be 0 and it would return 0. So if zero count is n, we simply return 0. And if all non-zero elements are negative, then it means that there is the condition that suppose the count of 0 is 1 and all the other elements are negative, sorry, like one negative element is there and all other elements are 0. So in this case the maximum strength would be 0, of course. Suppose we have -4 and all the elements are 0 here till n. So in this case the maximum strength would be 0. So remember, in both these cases the maximum strength is 0. After checking this, if number of negative elements is odd, it means that we have to exclude one negative number, and hence we would check in this case the maximum negative. So the answer would be the absolute value of the maximum negative number, which would be divided by the answer. So our answer is answer divided by absolute value of the maximum negative as we are removing it. So the maximum negative is removed. As we have multiplied it, we are dividing it to remove it. So this calculates the maximum strength based on the conditions and would give us the result accordingly. Let's check it on one of the test cases. Suppose -4, -5 and -4. So here what we first do is we check it is negative. Yes, -4 is negative. So we have -4, maximum is -4. And then we have -5. So our negative count is 2 with -5, and maximum of -4 and -5 is taken here. So here the maximum value would be -4, so it remains the maximum, and then we have the next element as -4. So we have our next element as -4. Now we would multiply all this and our answer would be, we are multiplying the absolute values, so 4 into 5 into 4, which would be 4 5s are 20, 80. So our answer would be 80 here. Now we see that the number of negatives are odd, so we divide 80 by the maximum negative, absolute value of the maximum negative was 4, so it would give us 20 as the answer. Hence our logic works fine. Hope you guys understand this solution. Thanks for watching.